Hey guys, I'm just going to show you a little bit about how to do the painting part of this. So in case yesterday was a little fast, if you, let me just turn these layers off. If you've already done your original sketch, this is just to get where the location of everything is and the basic shapes, sizes, proportions. Sketch 2, a little bit more detail, and sketch 3 is for your clean lines. And what you're going to end up doing with sketch 3 is you're going to create a layer underneath it, and you're going to call that your painting layer. So now let me just pull this side by side with my other painting. Open recent flower photo. So we get this one over here, and we get this one over here. You want to make them approximately, around the same size. And now I'm going to start drawing some colors from here. So this, I'm just going to block out some color, and I'm going to use just a regular brush, hard round, maybe a little bit of softness. It doesn't really matter. And for the sake of this exercise, I'm just going to use the color picker. If you want to pick your own colors, by all means, go right ahead. Holding down Alt and, oops, I'm on the eraser. Go back to a normal paintbrush. Holding down Alt, I'm going to use the color picker. Let's just start with this outer color over here. And I'm just going to paint that. And you kind of want to stay in your lines. That's the whole point of your sketch. And you can erase with the back of your tablet. If you have a black tablet, black tablets will not let you use the back of them, but the other ones will. So come in, and you'll notice it does look a lot darker and grayer than your eyes kind of perceive it over here. Make sure you get these nice little folds, different color. That'll be important. Little shadow right here. Might not be a bad idea at this point to turn off your background, so that if you have white and stuff, you can go ahead and get that as well. Let's go ahead and add that. This color. And you're just blocking out your colors right now. This is all that this part is for. Now I would maybe zoom in and make sure I'm doing a really careful job on the edges here. Wouldn't be a bad idea to do that. But since I want to go quick, since you guys are watching, I'll just kind of run through this. And just get these nice vibrant yellows right there. Those are pretty. You don't want a lot of empty space. I think you really want to make sure you fill it in, because otherwise I think that'll spread. For some reason, it'll just take all the emptiness and kind of blend it on top of the other things. So fill in most of that area. Oops. Okay. Get that. And spread that. Okay. And then this little section right here, very, very orange. And then very dark right there in the middle. Let's go ahead and just be done with that. That's enough. So now, oh, that's way too dark. Now I'm just going to come in and mix that up. So now I would do that to the whole thing. The background, don't worry about that. You can do that later, but it's the same basic idea. I'd probably just, well, I'll show you that in a second. Now I'm going to go here, and I'm going to go down to the mixer brush tool. Now, if you have the 2018 version, this is such a cool one to use, this Kyle's Paintbox Wet Blender. If not, just use one of these scraggly ones right there. You want something with a little bit of texture. You don't want just a regular plain brush, because it just won't look as good. This will make it look more like a painting, which is nice. So let me zoom in here, and then I can zoom in over here. And I'm just trying to get the same kind of blend of color. So with this brush, you go in between the two colors, and then go in between again. And it'll blend them. But it'll also kind of keep a little bit of texture. And the harder you push, the more it'll spread, at least with this brush. So it kind of depends on which brush you're using. You might get very different results, and that's okay. Just experiment, try different things, but the idea here is just to mix colors, and this one just keeps a lot of texture in the process, which I really like. You might not, and that's okay. And I want to try to, I'm going a little soft here because I really do want to stay in the edges here as much as possible. You can come in with an eraser afterwards. This is an eraser. I just turned it upside down and kind of do that, but as much as possible. It's easier to get in one pass. Alright, get a little bit of shadow in there, but you want to kind of blend it out. And pushing just hard right there. There we go. Nice. Okay, I like this. Get a little bit of that yellow just to spill up a little bit more. And push some of that white in there. Okay, now that we have that basic coat, I'm going to come in and just give those, there's a lot of lines here, so I just want to kind of make those visible just by dragging very softly, because the softer I go, the less thick the line is going to be. I just wanted to be doing this, and just to kind of get that effect of those veins in the flower petals. Same thing over here. I might want to come in this direction. You can kind of experiment with going both ways, see which one works better, or kind of go back and forth a little bit. And in the end, see what that looks like. I think that'll look nice. A little bit more of that pushed in there. Alright, let's try that. So, as you can see, I think I did a pretty good job. There's a few spots you can kind of like look after and say, hey, you know what? A little bit brighter there. I really want to have that kind of line defined right there. Maybe just pull in some of that right there. Whatever. You decide what works best. And then as far as, again, the background, you'd have to do the whole flower, so it's going to take a while. But as far as the actual background, I'd come in and just on a new layer, just say background. Bucket fill tool. Take this color right here. Something kind of like one of these dark black layers. And then, there we go. And then, you know, this is after you've done the entire flower. And then you can kind of come in and using the color picker again, you can just kind of do the same thing. Kind of take some color from here, that little section, this little section. It's really hard to see. You'll have to have your brightness up to really get any of these. But the more little variations you can do, I think it'll add a lot to your image, and those little veins right there. And then again, if you want to come in and do a little mixing with that one as well, you can. Probably not going to need as much, but it is kind of blurry, so you can just kind of mix some of that around. That's basically it. In the end, you should end up with something, you know, that looks, it doesn't have to look exactly like the original. This is a flower, so it's very forgiving, so if the petals don't look exactly, you know, as symmetrical or whatever, it's not going to be that big of a deal. But this should give you a good taste of how the process works and just what you can do in the future. Man, I don't like the way that's mixing. There we go. Because we're going to be doing this on a different project pretty soon. You're going to be using the same technique to do an animal, and hopefully this just kind of helps you out with that process. That's it, and good luck. See you guys on Friday.